Hello and welcome along to Alternative Johnnie Walker. This is edition number 30 and this is for Saturday, the 16th of February 2013. Hello, Johnnie Walker here, and a warm welcome to Alternative Johnnie Walker. This is the podcast that seeks to take a look and to give airing to alternative views and philosophies, and also speak to people who are trying to make a difference to life here on good old planet Earth. And as I speak, it's almost like the first day of spring. It's Friday afternoon, the day after Valentine's Day, and in my little den here in Dorset, the sun is shining. It looks beautiful. Anyway, welcome along. This is edition number 30, and quite by chance, I bumped into a friend, a fellow called Freddie, who makes little film shorts for BBC TV South. And one of the interviews he did was with an amazing spiritual healer called Andrew Mckellar. You can find out lots more about Andrew from his website, andrewmckellar.com. But I got in touch with Andy, as many people refer to him as, and went down to his home in Southampton, and he's built a little healing sanctuary on the side of his house where he helps hundreds and hundreds of people. He's an amazing man. And I started a conversation by asking Andy when he first noticed he had some sort of special gift.
Going back when I was a child, I knew that I was born for a special purpose.
Like when? When did you?
When I was about 5-6 years of age, I had unusual experiences that other people didn't have, or most people didn't have. I saw spirit forms around the bed. And I had out-of-the-body experiences, premonitions as a young child.
Didn't this freak you out a bit?
No, it didn't, because I was so young. I thought that everyone experienced these experiences.
Did you talk to your parents about them?
When I was around about 8-9 years of age, I did mention it to my parents. And obviously they poo-pooed it. My father said that he wanted my mother to take me to see a psychiatrist. But I knew there wasn't nothing wrong, that these people were stood around the bed and they were looking at me. I would be floating out of my body, and it was just such a phenomenal, real experiences. And then I started to hear voices, and the voices used to say to me, Andrew, one day you will be segregated from the normal routine of life. There is great work for you to do, and one day you will become extremely famous and people will come to you from all around the world. I once again told my father, of course I shouldn't have done. Then I went for a rough patch when I was about 22 years of age. I was basically down and out, living on the streets, living in Cardboard Box City, let's say, in Southampton here. I was also living in old derelict houses, and I got to the point where I just wanted to end everything, absolutely everything. And I was talking to a chap one day, and he said to me, I told him about my experiences as a young child and up until I was a teenager. And he said, look, go and see this lady, she's a psychic medium, she may be able to help you. And I went to see this lady, and she said, I've been waiting for you. I said, excuse me? She said, I've been waiting for you. I said, what do you mean? She said, I knew you would be coming. I said, I don't know. Why? She said, you don't realise who you are, do you? I said, yeah, I do. I said, I'm Andy Mckellar. She said, no. She said, within 5 years you will be known worldwide. You are the next Harry Edwards. You will cure people in their tens of thousands. And I looked at her and I smiled and I thought, silly woman, as you would. And I left, and over a period of a few months I did try it, and to my utter amazement it worked. I treated a chap who was on walking sticks with arthritis, and he threw the sticks away. Another person come in who was totally crippled with arthritis, and within 3 or 4 sessions they were running and came off of all medication. People come to me with certain cancers, and cancers would just vanish. Back problems, skin disease, a list of problems. And I thought to myself, well, the only thing I can do here is basically give myself over to this and take it up as a full-time occupation. And then television started to get involved, the radio started to get involved, and basically snowballed from there. And within 5 years, people were coming to me, as the medium predicted, people were coming to me from all around the world. I now get calls from China, Australia, America, New Zealand, Africa. I see it basically as a calling, and that's the story basically.
How do you deal with the amount of pressure of all these people trying to get in touch with you and trying to get an appointment? I mean,
I just deal with it. I just take everything in my stride. It's I've been doing it now for nigh on 30 years, treated tens and tens of thousands of people over the 30 years, and I suppose you become strong. You become strong within inside yourself, to actually deal with the actual demand of people wanting to receive help.
Having this gift, when you started to discover that you're able to help people so dramatically, did it go to your head a bit? I mean, it's like having the ability that Jesus had.
It's the same power. It's the same power, exactly the same power, the life force of the universe. The power that comes from Jesus' hands is the same power that comes from my hands. But as I said, I'm not a religious person. Obviously, it's a gift. I was born with a gift, and I choose not to be connected to any religion whatsoever, because I don't want to be pigeonholed. I find religious healing is, in the main, is connected to religious fanaticism and mass hysteria. And the greatest healers that ever lived were non-religious healers, because they're not clogged with their actual channel is not clogged with dogma, ritual, creed, and all the negative beliefs that go with religion.
Do you believe in life after death?
Absolutely.
Is there a spirit or spirits that actually work through you, do you think?
I've got two doctors that work through me. I've got Dr. Cotton and Dr. Williams. They both appeared at the end of the bed. Not when I was a child, this was when I was in my early 20s. I was reading a book, and I turned over to turn the bedside lamp off and put the book down, and I looked at the end of the bed and I nearly had a heart attack. There was a bloke stood there in all Victorian clothing with a black cloak on, a staff with a silver head, and a very small black top hat. And he's just looking at me, and I'm just froze on the spot. And he said, "I am Dr. Williams. I will work through you." And what with that, he just vanished before my very eyes.
How real did he look?
Solid, like me looking at you now. Absolutely solid. There was no transparency. It was just like looking at. Not forgetting, I've had these experiences all my life. Even when I was a kid, there were several people practically every night just stood around my bed, and I couldn't understand why these people were standing around the bed. It's a natural thing for me to be able to see or experience these happenings.
And what about the other doctor? How did he make himself known?
Dr. Cotton, once again, he was stood at the end of the bed one night, and I just looked up. On that occasion, I was asleep when I woke up, and I stretched, and I just looked, and I saw a figure at the end of the bed, and as my eyes adjusted to the light of the room, I just looked at him, and I thought, who's this? I thought it was the other chap. It wasn't, it was a different chap. He was shorter, and he said, "Andrew," he said, "I've come to give you a message." He said, "I'm here to work for you. I will work on tumour patients, and you will see patients come in to you with tumours of all sorts, and they will vanish." And from that day onwards, I started to get calls from a lot of cancer patients, and cancer patients would come in and their tumours would vanish. And it was amazing. And up until this day, I'm still treating, obviously, people with all sorts of tumours and cancer.
When they go back to their doctors or oncologists and the tumour has disappeared, what do they say?
They're obviously totally amazed and gobsmacked, absolutely amazed. But once the person mentioned that they've been to see a healer, and the blinkers come over and the shutters come down, and they don't want to know. The main mass, the main body of the medical profession do not want to know whatsoever. The medical profession has been going for just over 200 years, which is not long. Spiritual healing has been practiced for thousands and thousands of years. And I suppose they don't like to be made to look inferior. That's the only conclusion I can really come to. That they don't like to be made to look inferior. So they get on their high horse and say, "Oh no, we can't accept that." But where's the tumour gone? You know, the person was diagnosed with cancer and the cancer has vanished. You know, I have reams and reams of film footage where I've taped cancer patients before and after, and many of these patients have actually refused chemotherapy or radiotherapy. So where did the tumours go? They vanish.
How do you think it works? Your patients talk about feeling immense heat.
Yeah, my hands.
Almost like a hot
hands
iron.
burn, yeah.
Do you feel that heat?
I feel the heat, yeah.
And what it is it the heat of enormous energy?
It's enormous energy, enormous energy. I place my hand on the patient and my hands literally burn. Not to the point where smoke comes out, but they do get very hot, and the patient can often, after healing, they say that they feel the heat several hours after healing. So when I place my hands over the eyes, their vision fills with coloured lights, because the body actually functions on colour energy.
And does it take it out of you if you do a lot of healing?
Absolutely. That's the downfall for me of being a healer. By 5 o'clock, because I start at 8 o'clock in the morning, I finish at 5 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, I'm like a wet rag. You can wring me out. It's extremely draining. Once I leave this sanctuary, I go indoors next door, and I go straight to bed for about 2 or 3 hours to recoup my energies.
Are you married? Have you had children?
Yeah.
Any signs of the similar thing in your children? Or?
My son Marcus, who's 15, is showing clear signs of definitely being gifted, definitely. But he's only 15, he's into Xboxes and computers, as kids are nowadays. So I leave him to it until he's a bit older.
How do you work out what to charge people?
I charge a very small fee compared to many healers in this country who charge extortionate fees. I charge a very small fee that basically anybody can afford.
What do you think of the others who charge extortionate fees?
Keep well clear. Keep well clear. You've got to be, if you're a healer and you're charging large sums of money, are you interested in helping those people with their health, or are you interested in self-wealth? And there's a lot of healers that charge a lot of money, 70, 80, 90 or even £100 a session, which I think is not good. Not good. I charge nowhere near these prices.
And do you think there will be more healers in the future?
Spiritual healing is the health treatment of the future. I have no doubt about it, because you take the people that come in here every single day, 6 days a week, they're knocking my door down to get in. All these people have been told by the medical profession, nothing can be done. We can't help you with your back problems, we can't help you with your arthritis, we can't help you with your skin disease, etc, etc. There's a wide range of illnesses that people come to me with, and where the medical profession say they can't do no more, they come to me and I get rid of their problems. So if more people like me are born in the future, obviously it's going to become. We live in times of great ignorance, where there's a vast majority of people that they don't want to believe in spiritual healing, or psychic phenomena, or, as you say, life after death. But it's a reality that people are starting to wake up to. They're saying, there's got to be something in this. You're offered poisonous pills by the medical profession for your illnesses. It doesn't do any good. So people are turning to alternative therapies.
I wish I'd found you 10 years ago when I had cancer. How do people find you? Is it just kind of word of mouth?
It's word of mouth. Word of mouth, you know. So somebody comes in, and if they're cured of cancer or a back problem or whatever, and they go away and tell their friends or relatives, "Oh, I've got a problem, can I go and see him?" And it snowballs, basically.
Do you ever kind of want to run away from it all, that it all gets a bit too much?
No. I've been asked that question many times. For me to serve mankind in the way I do and the gift that I have as a healer, I wouldn't want to do anything else. It's something that I've got to do. I've got to do. I don't get tired of it whatsoever. So I get tired of some people, but I'm not tired of the gift.
And then on the other side, just as a complete getaway from spiritual healing, you do some rock and roll.
Yeah, that's my great outlet. It's like a release valve. Weekends I do a rock and roll show of 50s and 60s. Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, Roy Orbison, you know, all the 1950s and 60s artists. And I go out and I gig at weekends. So a lot of people can't understand that, hey, there's this man who's this great healer, and the next thing he's a rock and roll singer. You know, what's going on? You know, I'm a human being. You know, I'm like you. You know, there's no difference. There's nothing special about me as being Andy. I'm just a normal human being, and I'm a rock and roll singer.
You must have stopped in times and thought, why did they choose me? Why was I given this gift? Maybe they knew you would handle it well.
Probably because I'm quite a tough person inside. I had a difficult upbringing, which made me strong and tough. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. You've got to be strong to be a healer. If you're not strong, you will never, ever, ever be a healer. You've got to deal with so much suffering, and then there's the skeptic side, where you will be attacked constantly by skeptics. It's human nature for people to attack other people. I've been attacked from day one, but I don't suffer fools gladly. Skeptics attack, and I just let it water off a duck's back. Yeah, you have got to be strong. I think that's probably why they picked me.
Interesting, because you just said that's why they picked me, and you looked up.
They picked me.
Yeah, who's they?
The spirit people.
Right.
And the spirit people that follow me around wherever I go.
Do you believe in God? If you don't mind a personal question like that. And I understand what you say about religion, but
yes, I believe in a creator. But how do you define God? You know, I believe there's a force, and I believe that God is basically the power of love, the power of love, the power of unconditional love. And I think there goes the dove again. I think that God is the power of love, the power of unconditional love. Going even deeper and beyond, I think there's a force behind that unconditional love, which is, I think, way beyond our human comprehension. It's a force, basically, a force that creates the baby in the womb, or the force that pushes the grass up through the ground. The life force of the universe, that's what I see as God. I don't see God as a man up in the clouds with a staff. You know, that was for uneducated people of 200-300 years ago, you know, where God will dish out blessings for the good and condemn the wicked. You know, that doesn't happen. You know, it doesn't work that way. That's why you see religion crumbling in our so-called modern times. There's only one caste of humanity. There's only one religion, the religion of love. And there's only one God, and he's omnipresent.
Because religion has declined in its influence, a lot of people are a bit adrift with no what others might call it moral compass. And so you get a lot of people just going out and getting completely hammered at the weekend.
Yeah.
Trying to escape from something. Or do you think Let's talk about the future for you and for the planet. So, for you, first of all, is it's going to be more rock and roll and more healing?
I will sing as long as I've got a voice, and I will heal as long as I've got breath in my body. I will never retire. I will always want to take away people's pain and suffering, always. Even if I'm on my deathbed, if I can reach out and touch somebody and cure them, I will die a happy man. The state of the planet, we are living in very, very extremely dark times. You know, you've only got to look out the window and you can feel something's not right. Something is not right out there. Man is totally disconnected from his higher self, his spiritual self. And I think man has got to be brought to his knees before he starts to reconnect again. Because we've all got powers beyond comprehension, every single one of us. But it's finding the power within to be balanced and be happy. It's like having a plug. You've got 3 wires. If you've got one wire that's loose, let's say the earth or the live, you know, the plug's not going to work the appliance. And we are spirit, mind and body. You know, man concentrates on the mind and the body, and neglects the spirit. So there's going to be chaos, so to speak.
If there are going to be more spiritual healers in the future, there are perhaps quite a lot of special children being born. Now, your parents could not handle or understand the gift that you told them about.
Uh-huh.
And I read somewhere that until the age of 7, children are very psychic, and often have imaginary friends that are absolutely real to them.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
How would you advise parents whose children do tell them stories like that about imaginary friends and things that they see?
Never turn your back on your children that are seeing things or hearing things. Sit them down, talk to them, and do not poo-poo what they are actually experiencing. Take them to either a psychic, but you must go to a renowned or a renowned medium, because there's a lot of nonsense out there in the psychic and healing world. Or even take them to a spiritual healer, but make sure that these people, you know, are totally legit. And I would say to the parents, seek guidance for their children.
And for the children's friends and the children's teacher, that's another area of difficulty, isn't it? You can't really talk. Maybe you have a friend you could talk to, but if you talk to your teacher, schools would clamp down on that sort of thing.
Oh, of course they would. Of course, I spoke to teachers at school on 2 occasions actually, and it was the worst mistake I could make. One teacher laughed at me when I was about 14 years of age. I told him an experience that I had on the way to school. I was hearing voices coming out of nowhere, and I told him about it. And it was a situation where the voice said to me that there was going to be a body found in a lake over the backwoods behind the school. I told the teacher this. He said, "Don't be so stupid, Andrew. These voices don't exist." About 2 days later, they found a dead body in the woods at the back of the school. Of a young child. He went under the ice, and there was his body. And I said to the teacher afterwards, and he just looked at me and walked away. Yeah. People are ignorant. You know, the vast majority of people out there are totally ignorant when it comes to spiritual powers and abilities and awareness. You know, one day, even the ignorant will see. They will see, and they will know.
This dove that's been flying about, it's funny because I have a windshield for this recorder.
Yeah, not now.
I brought it with me, but I didn't put it on the machine because I thought, well, we're recording indoors, we won't need it. And of course, when the dove flies around, all the microphones go straight. Does the dove have a name?
Yeah, Lulu.
And do you think she senses the spiritual energy?
Animals are more intelligent than you can give them credit for. They're so intelligent. Yeah. She knows when the last person is going to leave. She knows when I'm going to leave the room. Yeah, oh yeah, she's aware. She could be flying around here. When I start to give a patient treatment, she'll fly on the floor and curl up in a ball and just watch me. It's amazing. She's a rescue dove.
Well, listen, you're a very busy man, a lot of demands on your time. Andy, thank you very much.
No problem at all.
That's the wonderful Andy Mckellar, or to give him his full name, Andrew Mckellar. And to find out more, go to his website, andrewmckellar.com.